Okay, so we saw the fillet. The next command we're going to look at is another really good one, and it's called shell. And we're going to set up one more thing for that. So I'm going to pan over to where I have some open space here. And let's go to the polyline button. Okay, polyline. Oh, wrong one. And with the polyline tool, we're going to draw just a freestyle shape, but roughly what I'm doing here. So I'm clicking, which represents the lower left corner of something, and just coming out. I'm going to go up and just along the axis, right? So these are all right angle cuts. All right. And I'm just going to say C for close. So it doesn't matter to me whether that last angle is a right angle. So draw me something that looks pretty close to that. No particular size. And then use press pull to extrude that up 6 inches. So I'm picking press pull, selecting inside, lifting up and saying 6, enter. Now imagine if this shape were made out of plastic and you need it hollow on the inside, like it's instead of a box, it's just we want just walls and a bottom of this. So if you were to scoop out all of this material inside and be left with a wall thickness all the way around the sides plus the bottom, that's what shell will do. Okay? So the shell button is kind of hidden, and where we have to find that is it's within this list of tools where it says separate. You've got to click that little triangle to open this up, and then you'll see shell. So let's select that and keep an eye on the command prompt, what it's asking. So it's saying, all right, just select me a 3D object, and I'm going to click. It doesn't matter where we pick. I'll just pick out over here, and I don't press enter. That's where there's a tricky. So I just said, hey, that's what we're going to perform a shell on. But now it's saying, okay, what is the face that you're going to remove material from? And for us, it's going to be anywhere on this top face here. So bring your cursor into the top and click. And it's no longer highlighted. And then now we press enter, right? So I select that top face and press enter. And then finally it asks, enter the shell offset distance. Think of that as wall thickness. What do I want that remaining wall thickness to be? Let's say 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to say 0.125, enter. Okay? And then a second, actually just hit escape to complete. And what we're left with is, a hollow shape with an 1/8 inch bottom and walls, which is kind of neat. So that command can be very useful when you're designing plastic parts, which typically don't have thick walls. All right. So those are many of the very common tools of modeling that you'll use. And obviously there's many more, but these are the basic ones that'll get you started. And what we have to finish up with as far as our commands are, once you model, you might have to then relocate or rotate this. And by rotate, I'm not talking about the standard rotate that AutoCAD would have, as in this tool here, because that would only rotate on the base of it, right? I'm just giving you this is the same rotate we would use prior to this. But if I want to take this box and flip it upright so that this opening is on the side of it, that's called a 3D rotate. Right? Or I want to move this not on or along the drawing plane. I want to move this up and down or in the Z-axis direction. That would be called a 3D move. 3D move would also let you move it left to right or back and forth, but it also has the Z-axis. So let's start by doing that. I don't want to move this shape. I'm just going to kind of pan over here, and let's say that it will move this shape. Okay, so let's say I need to lift this shape up 2 inches off the ground. Okay, so that would be a 3D move, and that 3D move button is right next to the standard AutoCAD move. It's got these fancy colors in it. So let's select the 3D move button, select that block, and press enter. And then you get what's called a gizmo, G-I-Z-M-O, this 3D move gizmo. And what makes this easy and user-friendly, so to speak, is you only need to select the axis in which you're going to move it. So for us, that would be the blue axis. That's your Z-axis. So go ahead and when you're on it, it turns gold. And when you see that, go ahead and click. When you click, now it's almost dummy-proof because I can move left to right, but I can, with my mouse, but I can only move the object up or down. Okay? So if I want to move that up 2 inches off the ground, I just need to move my mouse so that it's showing it upwards, and then type in 2, enter. Okay? So it makes it easy to, typically you'd use 3D move to move it up or down. And if you need to move it left or right, you use the normal move, right? The standard 2D move. Although, like I said, you could accomplish that with this command as well. Okay, so 3D move, I'm going to hit escape, and then 3D rotate. I'm going to tip this thing upright. So let's go. I'm just going to pan, make it bigger, so it's easier for you to see. Let's go up to the 3D rotate button right underneath 3D move, or to the left of the regular rotate. Select that button, and select your object and press enter, and then you get what's called a spherical gizmo. And the spheres are in all 3 axes. Now, if I want to tip this thing upright that way, the question would be upon which axis would I do that with either red, the green, or the blue? Well, it's going to be the red axis, right, because we're going to roll this thing up that way. And it's saying specify a base point. Okay, so what we have to do is define at which point is it going to pivot, and that's going to be this bottom corner. Right? So I'm going to select that bottom corner. And now the spherical gizmo goes to the location, so it makes more sense how you're going to rotate this. So now it's asking us to pick an axis, and it would be the red axis. So put your mouse on it, and it turns gold, and click it. And now there's a third thing we need to do. This, to me, is the only step that may not make as much sense as the others. We have to go back and pick that same base point. I'm not sure why we have to do this, but we have to. So I'm going to go back and select the same base point, and now you can see we have this under our control to roll it along that axis. So all we have to do is move our mouse straight down. You'll see it'll lock into place along the, that would be the original Z-axis. Okay, so I'm going to move my mouse anywhere straight down and click. Okay, now let's say that we have to roll it one more time so that this is now going to be touching the ground. So we have to roll it again, but only that way. Okay, so just for practice. So let's go back to 3D orbit, select the object and press enter. You get the spherical gizmo. The command prompt says, okay, where's the base point? So I'm going to snap to this same bottom corner here. And then which axis are we going to rotate it on? I'm going to pause and see, guess in your head. Is it the blue, the green, the red? Well, hopefully you said green. So it's going to be the green. So select the green. Then I have to go back and pick the base point. And now I can roll this thing around, but I'm just going to move my mouse again straight down and click. Okay, so that one is helpful because sometimes when you draw the 2D geometry and extrude it, it's not in its finished orientation. You then have to, roll it over and then start building from there. Okay, so that concludes the topics, and what I'm going to do is switch over to the assignments. Okay, and hopefully you downloaded that and you are looking at that. Okay, here's the assignment. So what I'm going to do is zoom in and read through it. So I'm giving you a choice of 4 objects here. Okay? And what I'm saying is using 3D modeling commands, choose one of them. Okay, so choose one of these. So you got 3 views except for this guy, you only need 2 views to draw. Using your title block paper, the 18 by 12, create 2 viewports arranged vertically. Okay, that's a little example down the bottom. Now this thing isn't any of the 2 things above it, but I'm going to quickly show you that back in the AutoCAD drawing. But you're going to take your viewport, you're going to split it up into 2, and then you can double click in each one and change your viewpoint within each viewport. So it's the same object, I'm just looking at it from 2 different directions. And you can change your visual style for each view. I didn't do that in this example, but I'm going to show you in the drawing. Okay? So, within each viewport, activate model space and position the 3D model object using an interesting position which shows as much as possible. Right? So that's, continuation of that. So you want to position it, like you see there, 2 different viewpoints to show as much as possible. You're going to save the drawing as 3D model XX, XX being your first and last name. Do not set the viewport borders to no plot, because I want to, you want to see the borders. And then this time, you're going to set your scale in the title block to NTS. Right? It's not going to be 1:1. It's not going to be 1/4 inch to the foot, because you're basically just using orbit to get a good viewpoint and zooming in to fill the viewport, but it's not going to be to any specific size if you dropped a ruler down to measure it. So NTS means it's not a scale. Okay, now, I see 7 is wrong here. You're just going to email me the drawings. I wish we could plot it, which means we're back in the classroom. But you're just going to email me the drawings, so I apologize for that. So ignore that. So email me the drawing, and next week, okay? Next week, tomorrow is the 17th, so next week is the 24th. So get it to me by class end, which is what, 1:30, 2 o'clock, by the 24th. Okay, so that concludes the lesson. What I'm going to do is I'm about to end this recording, and I'm going to make yet another recording. And I'm going to draw something. It's another one of these things. It's not any of these, but it's another shape that's kind of like this. And I'm going to go through modeling that, which you may want to watch just to see some technique. That's what we lack right now is technique. And hopefully by watching that, you'll get the confidence and working along with me, you'll get the confidence to say, hey, I can do that, and come back in here and choose one of these 4. Okay? So stopping this video, and there'll be a 4th recording of my modeling demo. Okay.